They say if it's not broke, don't fix it. But Marvel must believe something is damaged, because the MCU is heading for a hard R reset. First with Deadpool and Wolverine, then followed up by Captain America Brave New World. Things are so bad that Kevin Feige is dropping F-bombs in public. We've got the news right now. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel. We are happy to have you on this beautiful Saturday with this beautiful panel and an even better looking audience. Yes, we're talking about you. You look swell today. Folks, you can help us feel swell as well by clicking the like button. Do that for us. We would greatly appreciate it. Joining us today, we have Nolan Thunder, Jonas J. Campbell, Martin Stone, and yes, a very hangry table. It's a full panel as we talk about Marvel today. Gentlemen, welcome all.
Present.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
And with that, we are off to the news, folks. This is out of Variety by Brent Lang. Captain America Brave New World. CinemaCon footage shows Anthony Mackie saving Harrison Ford from White House assassination attempt. What? Newish Cap, same old shield. That's what it says. Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson steps into his own as the Star-Spangled Avenger in the first look at Captain America Brave New World that Disney shared during its CinemaCon presentation on Thursday. It sees the newly minted Captain America saving Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, the President of the United States, from a group of brainwashed assassins. The action-packed scene finds Wilson engaging in hand-to-hand combat while dodging bullets as he desperately tries to rescue the leader of the free world from a daring attack on the White House. The first look at the Marvel movie also showed Wilson getting an offer from Ross that he might not be able to refuse. I want Captain America to help me rebuild the Avengers, the president tells the patriotic superhero. Now, I have talked with some folks who have seen this, and they say that there is a part of this that seems to reference Joe Biden as the president. Hope that ages in a way that Marvel wants it to, whatever they're trying to say with that. But guys, starting with you, Nolan, what do you think about the idea that we're going to start rebuilding the Avengers? And who do you think Marvel might try to pull onto the Avengers, given that the characters they've introduced in the last 3 years have all basically fallen flat?
I think that is honestly a great idea, because I don't think they should just flat out reboot the MCU. I think they just need to get people to care again. And it's been pretty obvious the past 5 or so years that everything they've been trying is not working, and they proceed to keep doing the same practice of, hey, that's a hot stove. Here, let me touch it again. Oh, that didn't work. Here, let me touch it again. And a few hospital trips later, I think they finally got the hospital bill, and they realized, hey, maybe we need to try something a little different. So I think rebuilding the Avengers is actually a great strategy. And getting the little summary you gave there actually sounds like a pretty fun concept. Now, Spider-Man is a given, because out of like when you had that years and years ago, like that behind the scenes tidbit of Tom Holland, Brie Larson, and Chadwick, that they were seeing themselves as probably being the next phase, the next huge Avengers going forward. Well, as we know, Chad unfortunately passed away, and they wrote him out of the stories. Brie Larson, that's a whole can of worms we know there, and that didn't work out. So Holland's the one guy who's actually had some success here. So I think he's a given. I think they're going to do everything they can to get Hugh Jackman in this for Wolverine. So you already got two of the most popular heroes on the planet. I know, being Kevin Feige, he's going to try, instead of looking at the heroes who's best for the story, they're probably going to look at, gender, race, and stuff that doesn't matter in the long run. It should be about the hero. So I don't know. I do have a feeling, whether they want it or not, that they might try to shoehorn like a Captain Marvel in there. But I think if they're smart, honestly, despite what the sales charts say, I would try to get Ms. Marvel in there, because, she hits their check boxes, but also she's one of the only ones that people kind of like, despite being in some kind of stuff. So I think you'll at least see those three. That's where my money's on.
Okay, so I'm with you exactly on that, Nolan. I think that Hugh Jackman, Tom Holland, and Iman Vellani are your best three chances for the Avengers. It's not going to surprise me if they try to pull in She-Hulk again. I'm not a big fan of that. But Jonas,
Batman, maybe
one of the odd things here is that they're going to try to do this reset with Captain America: Brave New World. This is coming out this coming February, and that's not timed for a month that's usually great for superhero films. We remember what happened with Ant-Man Quantumania. So, Jonas, why do you think they're doing it now? Why do they do it with this movie instead of some other time?
Well, they have had some success in February. Black Panther was February, and also Captain Marvel, I believe, was February. Deadpool was February, even though no X-Men movie has ever made more than 800 million at the box office. So I think that is that's probably as fine a slot as any. I don't know that the summer season is necessarily better anymore for movies. I'm not basing that off of statistics. I'm not an analyst in the way that, say, Valiant Renegade is. One thing I will point out, there's a very obscure Marvel series that most people are not even aware that it came out, which is Secret Invasion, and they had a Donald Trump type character in that one, or they had a character that could have been anybody, but by the end they very clearly showed their indications of who it was. So it seems like maybe they're pushing in a different direction here with that. Maybe they want this as a date movie. I don't know. Marvel has kind of gotten away from that hunky hero type, but nothing against Anthony Mackie. Maybe they're going to get him to bulk up and take off his shirt for the film if they're trying to get the female audiences in there. I don't know. Harrison Ford, he's not quite in the shape he was back when he was that kind of a draw.
But he can't be worse than he was in Indy, and that's no fault of his own. Hangry, question to you is, this is supposed to be leading into Thunderbolts. Now, I know that you're a big comics fan. Nobody out there that I know knows what Thunderbolts is unless they actually go to the Wikipedia to look it up. So, Hangry, what in the world is the point of trying to set up to something that nobody even cares about? Or am I wrong, and is this the next Guardians of the Galaxy, this diamond in the rough?
Well, I think that's what they're hoping for, because the original Thunderbolts comic book came out at a time when the Avengers and sort of all the major Marvel heroes in the Marvel Comics universe were thought to have died. In fact, they got shunted off to this other dimension, and that's a whole other story. But the Thunderbolts came out.
There's a parallel here, Hangry, with the MCU. I'm starting to see where this is going now.
Right. And so
the whole franchise has died.
Yeah, seriously. But so what happened in the comics is that you had this new group of heroes seemingly pop up out of nowhere, all with very heroic names like Citizen V and Atlas and Songbird and Mach 1 or Mach 5, I can't recall. But it turned out that they were actually villains in disguise, led by Baron Zemo. And so that was the comics equivalent of the whole Darth Vader, Luke, I am your father thing. And that really carried the series on for quite a long time. Unfortunately, it never quite recovered that sort of that excitement that it first had, that really awesome premise. And they've relaunched it a bunch of times with a bunch of different characters in weird ways. Like there was even like a Fight Club version of it with the name Thunderbolts, but nothing has ever really stuck. And so I have a feeling that with this one, featuring some of these more down and out characters like the Winter Soldier, U.S. Agent, the drunk Russian, what was his name?
Red Guardian.
The Red Guardian. Thank you. I have a feeling that they're hoping that this will be essentially a new Guardians of the Galaxy for them, given that the previous Guardians have, I think, their creator has up and left their universe. All that to be said, though, there was a point I wanted to make about the Avengers, and it'll be very interesting to see the lineup of the Avengers, because that will be a real tell as to whether or not Marvel has actually walked back on the whole mantle strategy. Because as you said before, there was
Hangry, you're going to have to explain what the mantle strategy is. We've got a lot of new viewers, and they may not be aware of what that term means. Can you quickly define it?
Well, it was basically the idea that a superhero is nothing more than the sum of their parts, and that being that you could take the powers of Spider-Man, for example, the proportionate strength of a spider and his costume, and slap that onto anybody else, and you would basically have the same character. Like they were interchangeable, like an Iron Man suit of armor. Anyone could get into one and become an Iron Man. And so that is why you've seen a lot of, I guess, derivative characters that have come out. Like, for example, Ironheart, Riri Williams, Miles Morales. And I know all the controversy around that. But there are a lot of people who push back against that and say, well, no, Spider-Man is also Peter Parker. That's a fundamental part of that character. And the idea that all he is really just a set of, like, his power set just doesn't resonate. And it's not the reason why that character got popular in the first place. Like, I mean, Iron Man is Tony Stark and, Robert Downey Jr. at this point. So you can't just transfer the suit of armor to somebody else and expect the same audience reaction to it.
Well, that may be what Marvel is learning, and that's leading directly into the question I want to ask Martin Stone, and that is, Martin, we've heard a lot of talk about RDJ returning to the MCU in the next few years. We've also heard Jeremy Renner might be another original Avenger willing to come back. Does Marvel need to go back to that original set, or are there folks that are part of this new MCU in Phase 4, 5, and 6 that can fill the gap? Do they have to go back to the original roster?
I don't think they do. I think instead they need to, you don't want to use a farming metaphor or a baseball farm metaphor. Let's go with baseball. They need to drop down to AAA ball for a couple more years, relearn their fundamentals, and come back. The Marvel as a giant cinematic franchise needs to just be a little quiet for a while. Maybe release some almost art housey kind of stuff, like not exactly like Joker, but like just some smaller things. Relearn, get the producers back in shape, then come out with some big stuff again. They keep trying to get these big hits like they had with Endgame. That's not going to work. You need to go back, work on your fundamentals, and build back that audience trust up.
Well, instead of fundamentals, what if you instead went on stage and started dropping F-bombs as the head of a studio? That seems to be the approach that Kevin Feige has decided will work. This out of the Hollywood Reporter by Aaron Couch. Kevin Feige drops F-bombs, introducing 9 minutes of Deadpool and Wolverine at CinemaCon. Now,
no.
I get it. It is a hard R, and Kevin Feige wants to be modern, and he wants to be fitting in. But guys, imagine if all of our studio execs suddenly became profane in the way that their stars are going to be. I mean, can you imagine what Kathleen Kennedy would be doing if Leslie Hadland took the stage with all of the baggage that comes there? It would be a horrendous sight of what might happen.
Yes,
Now,
I do
that
believe
said-
the Daily Wire had an article about Headland calling her the Queen of Raunch, and now she's doing the first Star Wars series that needs a intimacy coordinator. So,
well, setting intimacy aside, panel, do you think that it's appropriate, or do you think it's a wise strategy for Kevin Feige, kind of a dorky fellow, but nevertheless ultra successful, to come out there and start dropping F-bombs as a Disney exec on stage? Is it cool? Is it hip? Or is it kind of lame?
Maybe he was really inspired by Tropic Thunder's Les Grossman.
oh no!
If he had danced, Hangry, I would have to come back and say that I would be cool with that, as long as the music and the lights changed as well.
I feel like he could dance if he wants to. He could leave the fans behind.
Oh, that was
I will say this: the Marvel movies have been pointing in this direction for a while. Even Captain America, by the end of it, they really just kind of ruined that character. In the last movie that had Chris Evans in it. Sorry, I need to be clear because now they have two people called Captain America here in the series. Captain America by Endgame was very loose with his language, and for a character that's supposed to have a strict moral code, that's kind of a violation of the character. And of course, in the end, ends up kind of betraying his own values to serve himself. So this kind of does track with how they've been going over the years, taking this, what is essentially a kid's franchise. And when I say it's a kid's franchise, I mean that Disney markets this thing to 2-year-olds. I don't mean
it
that
scales
it is
up, right? So it was enjoyable
kids.
for adults and young adults, but it's a property that's aimed for kids to play with toys, because that's where a huge piece of the money comes from. That's no different than original Star Wars. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy it if you're 50 years old. It just means that the money is with the 8-year-olds playing with the Millennium Falcon. In this case, it's with the 8-year-olds playing with Wolverine and with Storm and Cyclops and Iron Man and the Hulk and all of that.
Yes. The thing that I think that they're intentionally trying to do this, and this is their best chance at $1 billion this year. And I just think that it is.
Whoa. Moana 2? Inside Out 2?
Even if Inside Out 2 is good, which I still have my doubts let's just say I have my doubts there. I think that Deadpool is the closest that they will come to a sure thing this year. And again, the last Deadpool movie made $786 million, was the highest grossing X-Men film of all time. And I just don't know that this has enough gas in the tank to get people back into theaters, and also won't be damaging to the Disney brand. So they're kind of having a problem if it does what it's supposed to do, and they have a problem if it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
And if it makes anywhere close to $1 billion, all of the headlines are going to say, Marvel's back, baby. The MCU has returned. The trolls have been
What good
defeated
does that
once
do
again.
if the next film sucks afterwards? Like, I don't get it. Like, yeah, they get Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. You'd be really bad at your job if this is not a hit. If you walking through someone on how to make a recipe, and like say they're Gordon Ramsay or something like that, and he's showing the trainee how to make the ingredients. Well, yeah, if that comes out great, yeah, they showed everything. The minute he leaves and the trainee is on day 2 and they're by themselves, and you don't have any faith in them to do it, does that all of a sudden mean, yeah, they're going to be a master chef very next day? So no, it means nothing. And I'm excited for all the headlines.
Are you saying that Deadpool and Wolverine could be a kitchen nightmare?
Yes. And in fact, if they make a commercial for it spoofing Kitchen Nightmare, I want some residuals. Thank you.
Well, in the footage that was shown at CinemaCon, there's let's just say this. I can't even describe what's in the trailer on YouTube. How's that, folks? So this is far away from what I think many of us were expecting from Disney. Like, I expected hard R. This is hard RR.
And it also references Disney in that hard R trailer.
Yes. So we'll see how this plays out, folks. We'll see how it goes. But Kevin Feige out there dropping F-bombs as they attempt to reset the MCU and set it back on the path of financial stability. Can't keep losing money like the Marvels and Ant-Man Quantumania. That is for sure. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here to help us walk through what's happening with Marvel. Again, folks, I would just reiterate, you don't reset unless you are in a place you don't want to be. Nobody gets to the end of the World Series. Nobody's winning in the NBA Finals and says, could we do it over again, please? Let's change strategy. No. So Marvel has not been in a good place, despite what some of the mainstream headlines would have told you. Folks, at this time, be a part of the panel with us by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. Please check the video description and click on all of our guests' links so that you can follow them on this great, big, beautiful web out there. We have That Park Place Podcast Online launching Monday, T3PO as we call it. Don't miss out on long format podcasts with more entertainment news that should be fun. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
What are you doing?
Well, I was feeling really behind and uneducated on all the happenings in the entertainment world. So, I was trying to work out a solution, specifically around 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And, this is what I came to.
That's not what that means.
Oh.
But why wouldn't you just watch Midnight's Edge on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays? And on Tuesdays, on WDW Pro's channel, you got the Pro Show, and on Thursdays, you got That Park Place with Jonas and Vash.
Jonas? That guy sucks.
Well, feel free to jump in the chat and remind him of that regularly.
I won't feel free. I am free, baby. But I think you forgot something important.
What's that?
On Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, there's something really special that happens on Floral from Under a Rock.
Ah, right.
Under a Rock, where we don't simply talk about entertainment, We actually try to be the entertainment. Which, I mean, Floral, you're actually kind of dragging the show down, you know what I mean?
Well, theoretically, you and everyone else knows now what's happening at 12 Eastern Time throughout the week.
Yep. Now, just a point of clarity. You say 12 p.m. Eastern Time that the Midnight Edge will be happening. Is Tom gonna commit to being on time?
Well, that's a fair question.
Okay.